spit all over the table.
Nothing? No joke?
No.
All right. Welcome to Game Day Battle, where Cleveland sports news meets biased and outspoken opinion. A huge show. We've been chomping at the bit to come back. It's been summer hiatus, and we've watched the Indian season fluctuate up and down. We've seen the Browns come about, and there is so much to cover. We don't have enough time today. We'll try to pack in as much as we can. First up, let's go down the table. This is DJ Felix to my left, otherwise known as Ramon Torres, and full Browns gear. It is that time of the year. Dale Shantz-Tersey to my right. He's got the fantasy factor back big time tonight, and it is the full fantasy factor.
It's hot.
It's hot. And this is where you get all the dirt you need to know before you go to your fantasy draft. This is it. So it's coming up here in a little bit. And we've got Brett Finnegan right down at the end of the table, also full Browns gear tonight. And you'll also see him this year. We just found out. You will see him again at the Monsters games coming up in October, right?
Yep. I signed another year.
Signed another year, yeah.
It was a contract year, and he held out,
and they're signing him back.
Well played.
Thanks. Thank you.
You got a good agent, I imagine, then, right?
I do, actually. Very good. Even going to Rochester for the outdoor game with it. So.
Oh, you really? So, very cool. Nice. So yeah, you'll see him sort of on the ice at times with the Monsters. And we'll also have some Monsters updates coming up here as the season starts to roll out. So.
As soon as camp starts, I'll get you the details.
All right, very cool. So I'm Mike Glass, and I'm still sporting the Indians. It is still baseball season.
He's holding on.
Season. The playoffs they are around the corner, and I am hoping to see the Tribe in the playoffs this year. So here's what we're going to cover tonight, guys. The Indians, they're 6 out of taking the division, only 1.5 out of the wild card. Would you say from making the playoffs this year, they are in the playoffs like PEDs in A-Rod's arm, and it's definite? Or are they in with a little bit of luck? If someone's dying wish is answered, yeah, they might get in, or they're in only if all of bankrupt Detroit, including the Tigers, is sold to China tomorrow and turned into a sweatshop. Those are the chances for the Tribe getting in. Let's look at the Browns now. We got the Browns preseason going on right now. Regular season starts very, very soon.
Very soon.
We had the big draft. Everybody, I think, gave pretty good marks for Mingo, right? If I remember correctly.
Without a doubt.
One question we all had about him is, everybody had about him is his size, the amount of meat on him, the density, the mass this guy's got in order to be able to take a hit in the NFL. He's out right now. It's almost like you could write this script ahead of time.
Obviously, he can't.
He's out right. Well, obviously he can't at this point. But would you, if you could right now, redo your initial grade for the draft? Would you change it? Would you lower it?
Whoa! Are we knocking Barkevius Mingo?
I don't know.
Are we taking the redo draft on Barkevius Mingo already?
We might be. So
I can't do it.
You have the opportunity to tonight, Dale, or to refuse to. All right. Also, if you were a coach, would you name Brandon Weeden today your starter? Would you commit to 8 games with this guy, or would you even commit to a season with this guy? So that's the question about Brandon Weeden. We also have the 2-minute drill. We all love the 2-minute drill, so that's coming up. That's 2 minutes where we just have to plow through a number of questions, and not all Browns, not all Indians, not all Cavs related, but just random stuff. It's pretty cool. We are also going to have a raising of the beard tonight. Looking forward to that. For right now, though, we got to stick with the baseball season, and it is the Indians.
All right.
So the Indians are still moving right now, and you'll have to forgive Brett and Dale here. Brett's actually in a fantasy football draft right now, so we might have to carry the show for them a little bit. And Dale's fantasy expert here, and he's helping them out.
This is actually an auction draft, which is new to me, so I'm actually learning a little bit. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's neat. It's
student teaching the teacher.
Gong.
All right, so we've got the Indians now, and they are 6 out of the division. Tigers have been on fire. They've been a solid team, but we're only a game and a half out of the wild card, over a month to play still, and that's important. We have plenty of time to pick up either of those two stats. Would you say the chances of the Indians making the playoffs this year, that they're in like PEDs in A-Rod's arm, it's definite. They're in with a little bit of luck. They're in only if someone's dying wish is answered, or, of course, they're only in if bankrupt Detroit and the Tigers are bought by China and turned into a sweatshop tomorrow. So those are your choices. Let's just start down at the left end of the table here. Ramon Torres, the Indians, you started off really backing them for quite a while. You weren't your negative Nancy that you tend to be with them. And you gave them a long chain to sort of hang themselves with. Mid-season, though, you'd kind of jumped off. Where are you at right now?
I'm with the dying wish, you know.
So it's not the worst, but...
It is. It isn't. It is and it isn't. You know, with this team, they're so inconsistent. Winning 8 games in a row, then you go out and lose 6, and then you win 2, and then you lose 4, and it's like up and down. Right now, they don't show me that they're playoff ready, or even, you know, giving it a chance to even contend, because the games they're supposed to win, they're losing.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
So I just feel like they're too inconsistent right now, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, yeah, they've been inconsistent, and they have actually won games against a lot of teams. They've lost the games against the teams they need to beat.
Exactly.
And at least, you know, in the case of like Boston, we can't seem to beat Boston, but yet we don't really have to beat them right now. They're just another game. But we got to beat Detroit. And
they took a beat down when Detroit came to town, and they just took all their gas out. That was 3 games they swept us right there.
Okay. Did everybody kind of feel that a little bit? Like you felt like, oh my God, this is it when Detroit played so well against Cleveland. It was here in Cleveland too, wasn't it?
It was here in Cleveland.
We had everything kind of working for us, and yet we couldn't get even a split out of that series. Nope. And you felt like kind of this is the end. This is what's happened before. But what happened after that? They went on a tear. They won many games, and we're still in the mix. But so you're saying we're not out of it definitely, but there's little chance.
Yeah, I think there's a little chance. I don't think we're ready for that yet.
All right. Well, hey Dale.
Hey Mike.
Yeah. You back from the football draft?
No, I'm here. I never left you. I never left you.
You never did. So if you had to really make put your name on the line right now with the Tribe and their chances, you followed them all year. I know you've been down at the ballpark a lot.
More than I've been in the past 5 years this year.
You've been on that roller coaster with them.
I have.
And you've actually been quite supportive when a lot of people have been down on them.
Yeah.
So where do you stand now with this team in the playoffs?
The reality has sunk in. All I can really say is fuck the Detroit Tigers. They clearly got this division locked up. They have an all-star team, and to be honest with you, as much as this pains for me to say, I kind of want them just to win the World Series so they can blow up that fucking team, because there's no way that you can keep all that talent on that team. When you got Max Scherzer pitching better than Verlander, you know what I mean?
It's sick.
How do you afford to keep Verlander and Scherzer and Fielder and Cabrera? I mean, and Martinez. I mean, seriously, they won't be able to afford to keep that team together.
It's a little sick, and you know, if you take off even just 2 of those names, the team is still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they've got one of the best rotations and starting rotations in all of baseball. When Doug Fister is out there and Rick Porcello are out there winning games for you,
and the best hitter that we've seen in baseball since I have no idea when.
The best player probably of the last decade, maybe even longer. But playoffs, we're not going to win the division. I know that. Wild card, I would love to see us squeak in. I really don't see it happening. We've got some guys that are progressing. Scott Kazmir, Corey Kluber, Salazar. Those guys are showing that they have what it takes to be, MLB starting pitchers. And I think that they're just going to need some more time to gel and develop. And we're making some moves here to try to free up some money. Like we let go of Mark Reynolds. That just didn't work out. It was sad to see him go after he had that hot start. But 0 for 22 and 120 something strikeouts. We knew what we were getting with Mark Reynolds. It just didn't work out. I was actually glad to see them make the right move on there, so we can get some other guys up and get at bats, because it's the only thing that's going to make you better.
You know where Reynolds is right now?
He went to the Yankees, I believe.
He went to the Yankees.
Along with Pronk, and now he's wearing the pinstripes over there, so more power to him. They play in a little league ballpark over there in New York. I'm sure he'll hit some balls over the 315-yard fence.
The Yankees now have 3 prominent Indians players.
They sure do.
In Sabathia, Hafner, and Reynolds. So,
which means that we've got to be better than the Yankees.
Doesn't they feel kind of good?
Yeah, but we're not, though. They beat us. They beat us.
Well, okay, so are you saying it's someone's dying wish if we get in? Or is it going to take selling all of bankrupt Detroit to China?
I think we're going to have to wait till Detroit goes bankrupt before we can take the division, at least. I mean, they've got it locked up. All
right.
They're a big market team. They got the big payroll, and 80% of the time in baseball, that's enough to get you the division.
That's true. And Brett, I know you have you've been kind of on the fence for a lot of the season. You haven't really supported the team maybe in the way that you have in the past, but you also haven't dogged the team either. So you're at this point now where it's are we going to be playing in October? Is it all football in October? We don't want that.
I'm going to go back to what I stated at beginning of the season is if everybody in Cleveland thinks that we're going to win this division, you're dumb. I mean, the only way we were going to get in is by the wild card.
And that's you.
I mean, Detroit really is that good. And, I mean, I would love to see in the World Series and see Detroit going, hey, guys, we're bankrupt. Here you guys go. Here's your pink slips. The only way the Indians are going to get in is if they win the wild card, 1 or 2 spots. They're only a game out. How that seems a little more reachable than winning the division out 6 games out. Detroit is known to go on their losing streaks also, which they've shown this year.
And they're hitting a tougher part of their schedule.
Exactly, and we're going to Atlanta, one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. But I gotta love the pitching matchup against Atlanta. It's, Salazar, Masterson, and Ubaldo, but Salazar is going against their prominent rookie right now too. So it's gonna be a great series. But the only reason where the Indians can get to playoffs is wild card, and they're only a game and a half out of it. So.
Well, and that I'm with you 100% on your last point there. It's a game and a half out. It's over a month of baseball to play. And the Indians have an easy schedule coming. I don't want to say easy, but it's an easier schedule than, say, the Tigers have, or than a lot of teams have. And here's one thing, and if you go and look at the teams they beat and the teams they don't beat, the teams that they beat are all of the teams that nobody either doesn't expect much from or considers to be a decent team. They kill those teams, and they do it consistently. It's the big name teams they have trouble with. So, if we're in the playoffs, how far do we get? Well, that's where we run into trouble, because we run into all the big name teams, including possibly Detroit and Boston. But getting there, we have a month and a half, or a little bit over a month to play. We're a game and a half out, and we're going to win a lot of games coming up. I want to say that, I'm not going to say it's definite, but I'll say that with just a little bit of luck, a small amount of luck, we're in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And now put yourself in that position as an Indians fan, and you've got guys with names like Swisher on the roster, and you've got guys stepping up like Salazar that came out of nowhere. That's what happens in a winning season, is you get guys out of nowhere and big names stepping up. Kipnis has, after a slow start, and it's baseball, you go up, you go down, and whatever, but he's been able to establish himself as a prominent member of this team and continue putting up numbers. Put all that together, and you've got a team that easily can make up a game and a half in the wild card and keep it and get energized and motivated by a World Series winning coach in Francona. I'm saying we're most likely in, not definite, but most likely in the playoffs, and that's where we'll be come October, because I'm afraid that the Browns might not be keeping our attention too well at that point.
Hey, what's up, all you Game Day Battle fans? DST here, back with my favorite segment. It's time for the Fantasy Factor. Another season of NFL football, another chance for you to win that fantasy football crown, where championships are won and friendships are lost. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting patiently for my DST official fantasy football rankings. Well, I got them right here for you, and I'm ready to run them off. So go ahead and get yourself a paper, get some pen, and get ready to write down your recipe for a fantasy football championship. Gonna tell you how we're gonna run things off here. I'm gonna go down each position and give you my top 10 players. Then I'm gonna give you some value of guys who are on the rise, some guys who are on the fall, some guys to avoid, and of course, the secret sleepers. So let's get ready to run them off. We're going to start at the quarterback position. DST Fantasy Factor rankings coming at you right now. Number 1, Drew Brees. I think he's the undisputed best quarterback in the league over the last 5 years. He's finished in the top 3 statistically. Last year, posting over 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns, and that was without his head coach. Sean Payton's back in New Orleans. I'm expecting big things once again from Drew Brees and that New Orleans offense. Number 2 spot, Aaron Rodgers. Come on, guys, fantasy stud. I got him as number 2 on my list. Peyton Manning coming up. They're giving him more weapons, proving that injury didn't mean anything to him last year. He put up solid fantasy numbers, and you gotta love when a Pro Bowl quarterback, definite Hall of Famer, gets a guy like Wes Welker out there to target. Just like in Indy, he's got his 3 targets, and I'm looking for big things from Peyton Manning this year. At number 4, I got a 2-way tie. Colin Kaepernick and RG3. We knew last year that these guys were the future of the NFL, and we saw lots of good things for guys who only played 10, 11 games for the whole season. I'm expecting both of them to be back and healthy, and I really think that with the new offenses that is forming in the NFL with this spread offense, these guys can really do damage for you. At 10 points a rushing yard for quarterbacks, it's almost like these guys are the new PPR threats for running backs. Colin Kaepernick and RG3, I like them at number 4. At number 5, I got Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez is coming back. Now they have an honest running game when Steven Jackson. I'm thinking Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, is going to lead the Falcons deep into the NFC playoffs. At number 6, I got Andrew Luck. Again, another young guy ready to be the future of his franchise. He was quality last year and really went under the radar with some of these other big names that came out. But I like Andrew Luck getting value in the middle rounds. At number 7, Tom Brady. That's right, Tom Brady is slipping on a slip and slide all the way down to number 7 on my list. He lost Wes Welker. Could Danny Amendola be the guy? No more Gronk. Or no more Aaron Hernandez. Gronk isn't going to be 100% till at least week 6. I'm kind of afraid of Tom Brady this year. Number 8, Matthew Stafford. Gotta love a guy that's throwing to a Megatron. And number 9, I like Eli Manning. He's consistently a mid-level guy if you get stuck looking for a top 5 quarterback. And number 10, Andy Dalton. I like looking for quarterbacks that have solid receivers, and A.J. Green is definitely that. Andy Dalton just escaped in to my top 10. Guys on the rise, I got Russell Wilson. Okay, he was kind of low on the radar last year. Nobody even expected Seattle's offense to light up, but he did kind of a mediocre job all the way through, looking to see if he could take it to the next level. I like Alex Smith in Kansas City. With that new offense, I really think that he can step in there and do big numbers. They got that honest run game with Jamal Charles, and Dwayne Bowe is a 15-touchdown guy. I think Alex Smith has value. Also, Carson Palmer. They're looking at a guy that can get the ball to Larry Fitzgerald, and I think he also rises the stock of Malcolm Floyd a little bit out there in Arizona, so I'm liking Carson Palmer as a last resort. Guys to stay away from at the quarterback position. Cam Newton. I think he's totally overrated. Had the sophomore slump. Didn't do much last year. I don't know why people are so high on Cam Newton. He doesn't seem to have the mental aspect of the game down. Joe Flacco signs that major contract, but he lost Anquan Bolden and he lost Dennis Pitta for the year. That's going to hurt. Joe Flacco's on the decline. And also, Tony Romo. Draft him, no mo. Need I say mo. Sleepers. Guys to look for in the late rounds as a backup that could potentially come in and lead your team to victory. That's right, Cleveland Browns. You ready to hear Brandon Whedon's name? Because he is not taken in any mock drafts. They have third-string quarterbacks that are ranked higher than Brandon Whedon are. And I think with our new offensive coordinator, Browns fans, you know what I'm talking about. We're going to be airing the ball out, and I really think that we might have some solidify, I guess, in our offense. And I like Brandon Whedon a lot. Ryan Tannehill coming up. E.J. Manuel. I wrote this list before he got injured. He could be doing big things. On to the running back position. Number 1, without a doubt, Adrian Peterson. He went over 2,000 yards last year, 12 TDs. It's going to be really hard for him to duplicate that this year, but he was still such a far step in front of all the other guys. I like Adrian Peterson as the undisputed number 1 running back. Number 2, Doug Martin out in Tampa Bay. He's going to be the breakout player of the year, in my opinion. The only other running back to have 350-plus carries last year and catch 40-plus balls. Doug Martin is a must-have in PPR leagues. Number 3, you ready for this? Trent Richardson. I'm saying it. I'm putting him before Arian Foster. I love our offensive line. I love our offense. I think Trent Richardson could rush for 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. We'll rewind this back in Week 17 and see if I was right about that. But I got Richardson right behind Doug Martin as one of the breakout candidates for 2013. Arian Foster always slid down to number 4. That's just because his injury scares me. He wasn't healthy last year, but he still put together 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns. You can't lose with Arian Foster. Ray Rice right below then. He's going to be the cornerstone of that Baltimore offense. At number 6, I got a two-way tie with Jamal Charles and Maurice Jones-Drew. 2 guys that both had big injuries last year. MJD is in a contract year. He's healthy. I'm looking for both of these guys to come out and do big things. Number 7, Marshawn Lynch. Number 8, Steven Jackson. Again, in that new Atlanta offense, he's healthy. He's going to go there and thrive. I like Steven Jackson a lot. Alfred Morris. Some guys are weary. 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns in his first year. That's ludicrous. But remember, he is a Mike Shanahan running back, and if you go back to those Denver days, every year they had a new stud. So it'll be interesting to see if Alfred Morris can keep that going and get another successful year. Number 10, LaShawn McCoy. With that Eagles offense, they're going to be swinging their running backs out to the wing. LaShawn McCoy could definitely benefit from that. I snuck him into my top 10. Running backs on the rise. CJ Spiller. A lot of people are putting CJ Spiller up in the top 5. I would just like to remind you that Fred Jackson is still a running back, and he still will be getting 10 to 15 carries a game. So while CJ Spiller is a big game threat, I just don't see him as a solid number 1 running back yet. David Wilson out in New York. With Andre Brown going down, David Wilson's stock shot up overnight. He's going to be the undisputed number 1 running back in New York, and he also is a PPR threat as well. I like David Wilson. Stevan Ridley out in New England. He came out of nowhere last year and really turned it on. 12 touchdowns, over 30 balls caught. I like Stevan Ridley. And of course, Reggie Bush, and then going to Detroit, where they love that passing game and that offense and those 40-point games. I think Reggie Bush could rush for 50 yards, catch for 100 yards, and maybe get you 2 or 3 touchdowns. I'm really expecting big things from Reggie Bush this year. Guys on the decline, Darren McFadden, and basically anybody from Oakland. The Raiders are the laughing stock of the NFL right now, and I would seriously stay away from any aspect of their game, even if you're a Buckeye fan and you might want to snake Terrell Pryor. I still don't like that one. Also, DeMarco Murray, they've compared this guy to a couple NFL greats. He just hasn't been consistent, and he only found the end zone 4 times last year. You need more than that from your fantasy football running backs. Also, stay away from Ahmad Bradshaw. He got signed by the Colts. They've got kind of a 4-headed mix going at running back. They're not really sure who they're going to put out there on opening day. Vic Ballard might be a more healthy option than Ahmad Bradshaw out there in Indianapolis. Sleepers at the running back position. Here we go. Darrell Richardson. This is the guy who was making noise behind Steven Jackson in St. Louis last year, and when Steven Jackson went down the last 4 weeks, this guy showed lots of potential. I think Darrell Richardson could be a solid number 2, number 3 back for you, and he's still around in the rounds number 5 or 6, where it gets tougher to find a quality running back. Giovanni Bernard, rookie coming in Cincinnati. This guy's been tearing up camp. I think he's got a lot of sleeper value. Another rookie, Eddie Lacy in Green Bay, could emerge to do some big things, maybe a 1,000-yard back. And keep an eye on that Denver scenario. They got Monty Ball, Ronnie Hillman. Sean Marino was putting up big numbers for a couple weeks before he messed up his knee. So make sure you monitor Denver's running game and see if you can grab any one of those guys. Undervalue, I got Ryan Matthews. He's still around like 8th, 9th round. He is a starting running back, but I don't know if he's going to get you the kind of numbers where you want to count on him as a number 2 guy. All right, we're going to move over to the wide receiving position, where the undisputed number 1 wide receiver in the game is without a doubt Calvin Johnson. Megatron caught 111 balls last year, over 2,000 receiving yards. That's absurd. He did only have 6 touchdowns though, so even if he catches 20 less balls and 6 more touchdowns, that's still going to be more fantasy points than he put up last year. I'm definitely expecting Megatron to see double-digit touchdowns this year. He's undisputed at number 1. Number 2, AJ Green, proving that he's the real deal. Brandon Marshall at number 3. RG3. He caught 118 balls last year and had 11 touchdowns. That was the most touchdowns out of top 5 wideouts. So Brandon Marshall definitely knows how to catch the ball in the end zone. Jumping up my list this year, Dez Bryant really turned it on the last half of the year. Caught 92 balls for 12 touchdowns. He's going to be Tony Romo's favorite target this year. I think Dez Bryant is going to become that elite player this year, so I like him at number 4. Number 5, Julio Jones. He surpassed Roddy White last year, led the team in yards, touchdowns, catches. I think Julio Jones is who everyone thought he was, and that's the future of the wide receiver position in the NFL. Number 6, Demaryius Thomas. More young guys progressing into that 3rd year, ready to see what he can do with another year with Peyton Manning, another successful camp. I think Demaryius Thomas is without a doubt a top 10 player. Larry Fitzgerald. Man, if you had Larry Fitz last year, you were kicking yourself, but you can find some comfort in the fact that they at least maybe have a starting quarterback in Carson Palmer, and he should at least know how to use those weapons. Larry Fitzgerald still in the top 10, strictly on his playmaking ability. Number 8, Victor Cruz with the Giants. He's surpassed Akeem Nicks for that number 1 spot, and he just signed a $40 million contract. The Giants and all of his owners are expecting big things from Victor Cruz. I am too. Sliding down my list a little bit this year, Andre Johnson. I took him out of elite status, but I still got him as the cream of that 2nd-tier crop. He was good for 100 balls and 1,100 yards, but only 4 touchdowns last year. You're going to need more out of a number 1 guy. Number 10, I like Roddy White. He may be a number 2 guy, but I'm telling you that Atlanta offense is for real. Matt Ryan could pass for 5,000 yards, and both of those guys are top tier. All right, guys who are on the rise. Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb. Go after this guy. Do not be afraid to take him in the 3rd or 4th round and really kind of blow your load early on him. But this is the future for the Packers, and I really think that this is going to be their lead guy. I don't see James Jones getting 14 touchdowns again this year. Randall Cobb's going to be a 90-ball, 1,500-yard guy. I definitely try to grab him. Danny Amendola, the new Wes Welker. If he can do anything that Wes Welker's done in the past 3 years, he's worth a roster spot. Tom Brady knows what he's doing. I like the Danny Amendola move. Dwayne Bowe, 2 years removed from 15 touchdowns. Just didn't have a quarterback last year. Alex Smith's the real deal. They're going to really thrive in that Andy Reid offense, and you know that they love to throw the ball first, so I'm looking for Dwayne Bowe to step it up. Other guys that are filling shoes. Antonio Brown filling in for Mike Wallace. I'm expecting big things from him this year. Pierre Garçon, if he can stay healthy, Pierre Garçon's going to be a top 10 wide receiver. Remember, I told you that. RG3 loves him. He's good for those screen routes, and once he has the ball in his hands, anything can happen. I'm really high on Pierre Garçon. Guys who are falling down the list at wide receiver. Deshaun Jackson hasn't been relevant in fantasy leagues for going on his 3rd year now. Avoid Deshaun Jackson like the plague. Eric Decker. This is tough. He had 13 touchdowns last year and was top 20 for the wide receivers position. But with Wes Welker coming in, somebody's productivity has to diminish. And I think it's going to be Eric Decker who's going to slide down just a little bit. I'm staying away from him. Jordy Nelson, again, with the rise of Randall Cobb. I think Jordy Nelson had that 1 year, and he kind of proved that it might have been a fluke last year with not even 8 touchdowns or 1,000 yards. I'm staying away from Jordy Nelson. Sleepers at the wide receiver position. Let's go with Tavon Austin, rookie in St. Louis. They're talking about this guy like he's the next Jerry Rice incarnate. So if Sam Bradford can do anything, he's going to have to do it with the help of Tavon Austin. I'm looking to see what he can do. T.Y. Hilton in Indy, again with the emergence of Andrew Luck and that offense stepping forward. He's that solid number 2 guy. Andrew Luck's probably going to have 40 touchdowns, and I think maybe 10 to 12 of those could easily go to T.Y. Hilton. And of course, Josh Gordon. Even with that 2-game suspension, I'm loving Josh Gordon in the 8th round. I mean, he's without a doubt the Browns' number 1 weapon, and I really think that they're going to utilize him and see what they can get out of him this year. It's going to be a big year for Josh Gordon. Try and snake him in the 8th or 9th round. Undervalued guys that are going really late that I can't believe. Anquan Bolden, all right, out in San Francisco. Colin Kaepernick has one of the greatest arms I've ever seen. He makes throws that I haven't seen since Joe Montana's days. And I really think that he can step up and be that guy, especially with Michael Crabtree out. They're going to be hungry at the wide receiver position. I think Anquan Bolden has lots of value after the 10th round. Kenny Britt, finally 100% coming back from knee surgery last year. He's the number 1 guy in Tennessee. And Anybody out in San Diego? Okay, we know that they lost Vincent Jackson last year. Denario Alexander went on a tear last year with 11 touchdowns in 6 weeks. He's out for the year with an MCL tear. Look for Vincent Brown and Malcolm Floyd to pick up the slack in San Diego and be a quality number 2, number 3 wide receiver for you guys. On the tight end position, number 1, Jimmy Graham. He might even be a top 5 wide out. If your top 5 guys are gone, consider Jimmy Graham as just as good of an option as Demaryius Thomas, Larry Fitzgerald, Victor Cruz, Andre Johnson, any of those guys. Jimmy Graham is without a doubt the best tight end in the game. Number 2, give me Gronk with a broken back and a broken forearm. I don't care. That guy finds the football in the end zone. You got to love him. Number 3, Jason Witten. Last year, the only tight end to catch over 100 balls. He's consistent. Tony Gonzalez. Hung it up. And then he brushed that off and says, yeah, I'll come back for one more. He knows Atlanta's poised for some big things. Tony Gonzalez finished in the top 5 of points for tight ends last year. There's no reason why I can't see that guy doing it again. He's a Hall of Famer. Number 5, Vernon Davis. As we're talking about lack of wide receiver depth in San Francisco, we know Vernon Davis can line up in that slot position and really be used in a lot of different ways. I like Vernon Davis a lot. Number 6, Antonio Gates. Not the top guy he's been in the past, but if Tony Gonzalez is still out there getting it done, you better believe Antonio Gates can still get it done too. I got him as number 6. Kyle Rudolph in Minnesota climbing up my list this year. Martellus Bennett out in Chicago. He moved from New York to Chicago. We know how much Jake Cutler loves his tight ends. If you've been following those guys over the past years, Martellus Bennett is a playmaker. He's a big target, and Jake Cutler loves the middle of the field. Look for him in the late rounds. Jermichael Finley. Man, this guy, they called him the draft. I don't know. He might be a draft bust with a sore throat or something, but he's just not getting it done. Jermichael Finley slid down to number 9. Number 10, I like Brandon Pettigrew out in Detroit. Guys that are on the rise. Jordan Cameron. We lost Ben Watson. You've been seeing Jordan Cameron run wild in the preseason. I really think Brandon Whedon's going to be looking for him. He's huge. He's got big hands, and he's an end zone threat. I like Jordan Cameron a lot. Also, Kobe Fleener and Jared Cook. Their stock's rising as well. All right, at the kicker position, feel free just to roll the dice. My defenses, I'm going to go ahead and give you my top 5. I like San Francisco, Seattle, Houston, Chicago, and the Denver Broncos. Well, that's my list for you guys this year. The Fantasy Factor is back, and we're going to be running it every week for the next 16 weeks here on Game Day Battle. So you can hit me up on Facebook with any questions or dilemmas that you have. Some questions I'll save for the show. Other questions I'll try to answer for you guys Saturday night and early Sunday morning. You can reach me on the Facebook page as well. Make sure you get on there and give it a like, and I can help you out with your fantasy problems all year long. Football is back. Fantasy football is back. DSD is in fantasy heaven, and I'm looking forward to help you get those W's all year long. Thanks a lot, GDB. I'll catch you next week.
All right, it is time for the raising of the beer. Small amount of time left, so we try to fill that with. We try to fill it with a little bit of love, a little bit of hate, or just some random talk about something we enjoy. Tonight, I would like to start with Dale Chance Tercey.
Hey! I want to raise my beer. First of all, the GDB crew, it's so great to be back with you guys.
It's very good.
Nice summer break. Now we can tackle football season. We got a great demo package thanks to the brilliant mind of Mike Glass over here, who really is responsible for taking the show to the heights that it's currently at, Mike. So I'm raising my beer to you, believe it or not, today.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
It's wonderful. And I'm proud to be a part of this with all you guys. So it's good to be back.
I'm going to follow that up. Actually, mine was along the lines as Dale's. Big shout out to Mike Glass. Stuff we got going on for the show, and we're just heading in all the right directions, and the vision he has is what takes this show to the heights that it is. And good job, man. I can ask for a better partner in this, and the crew. And shout out to you guys for being here every week as well. Hope this thing just takes us to levels unknown to mankind.
That's awesome.
That's nice. Hey, and it's,
I want to go to a level where there's hookers and blow. Let's do it.
You can just come to my job.
Actually, I think Dale was put on hookers and blow a while ago. He just hasn't been on it. That's his role. So
that shit'll kill you.
Both.
The hookers.
Both.
Not the blow.
Not the blow? Okay.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Well, Here's to you, Mike, and the rest of here too.
Oh, unanimous.
But I also want to throw out another one here. It's coming along that this has never really been done since the era of Babe Ruth. And an 8-year-old Indians fan with severe cerebral palsy asked Carlos Santana and the Indians, to hit a home run for him. And Carlos Santana and Jason Kipnis owned up to that today and hit 2 home runs for the guy. So that's
awesome.
actually pretty sweet. So
Nice.
that's up to you guys. Congratulations. You don't see that very much in the baseball league. I mean, it's hard to hit a home run, but
Nico Lanzarotta. Mm-hmm. So that was the little boy.
from Strongsville, Ohio. So
Very cool.
Here's
Yeah.
to you, Nico.
To you and to the Indians players that were able to make your request come true.
Santana.
May you be able to grip a
Kipnis.
beer one day.
It was almost that was pretty harsh. The kid can't grip a beer. I'm sorry. That was dark and meaningful and
I
nice.
take it back. I'm so sorry.
I really took
I'm so sorry.
my sentimental beer raising to
I'm so sorry.
I didn't know what to do with that.
wrong,
Okay.
and
We could delete that. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure we can have our people pull that out of
Then
there.
we might not.
We could put it on my all-time gag reel.
All right. Well, I first off, I want to spread some love around you guys because that was very nice of you to say that. And of course, it's
the love.
it's just a matter of pushing what you guys kind of everybody brings to the show. That's what really makes it good, makes it awesome, and makes it fun. So I'm happy that you guys we're all doing this together. So I'm happy to be back too. The hiatus
it's great.
is.
It was killing me.
It is because it's nice to a little bit extra time here and there, but I miss seeing the show come out. I miss doing it. I miss being here. I miss it all. So it's nice to be back. But I
Why
want
don't you
to.
pull that back up?
Oh, they're still doing the draft, by the way.
No, we're done. We're done.
We're going to share with you Brett's top 5 players of his team that we were able to put together here.
All right. Well, let me finish my raising first.
Oh, you go right ahead.
All right.
You go right ahead. I'm so sorry to intrude. I thought we were done.
I want to raise my beer also to the Sandusky Speedway and Kevin J. Cox, who owns that speedway and runs it out there. We were able to go out. My dad had this lifelong dream to get out on the course and actually race a race car and race with cars out there. The whole experience. Never was able to make it happen before. My dad, my brother-in-law, my probable future brother-in-law, sorry, because that hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it'll happen eventually. Anyway, a bunch of us were able to go out there, and I'll show some pictures here. It was really cool, and it wasn't possible without the good people at Sandusky Speedway. It was very cool, so I raised my beer to them, and the whole day it was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
It was
I saw
neat.
that on Facebook.
It was so
Awesome.
neat, man. But, Brett, let's hear your starting lineup.
Hit it. At starting quarterback, Drew Brees. Second round pick, Trent Richardson. Third round pick, Jimmy Graham. Fourth pick, I'd probably give it to Reggie Wayne. Followed by number 5. I like that Daryl Richardson pick a lot. I can't believe he was still available down there. It just goes to show you that people don't know any idea who Daryl Richardson is. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 first or second round picks on his team right there. You gotta love that. Best of luck
And
to you,
I
brother.
finished with I think $9 left too. So it's that time.
So we got
spread.
some money for some blow.
Yeah, sweet. I'm all down for some blow, for show. In my hoe.
All right, guys, good show, man. Officially back at it.
Officially back at it, and everybody, until next week, battle on.
Battle on.
Prediction time next week. It's going to get ugly.